Hi everybody, Bob with Knives Town here. You know, for a long time I have wanted to add a genuine kukri to my knife collection, and I did find one that interested me. So I went ahead and placed the order, and today we have an unboxing. And I'm excited about this. This is a shipment that has come from across the world. This was delivered by a couple of carriers here. Quickway, you'll see there, is the carrier, and there's some funny writing down there. And DHL got in on the act too. Atlanta Worldwide Traders, and Nepalese Handicrafts. So this came from Kathmandu, Nepal, and we're going to open this up. I'll be using the Victorinox Craftsman, and I'll use the pen blade for good control. Alright, let's see what we got here. All the way from Nepal. That would be the furthest I've ever ordered a knife before. Okay. Comes packed in some, it's absorbent, fibrous type of a paper. It's not just paper, it's almost a cloth. Okay. Rubber banded. Okay, as you can see, it comes with a sheath. We'll take a look at that in detail later. Alright. The knife arrives in bubble wrap. And a final wrapping of newspaper, Nepalese newspaper. That's a curiosity. Oh, no, one more wrapping of plastic. And it is coated with oil. It has just been coated with grease. To keep it, it is a carbon steel blade, and so that would be to keep it rust-free during shipping, as you would want. Wow. That is a called the Beast, or named the 3 Chirra, and the company that this was ordered from is Kukri House. So what we're going to do is we're going to clean them up a bit and do some testing, and then we will go to a tabletop review. So hang tight. Alright, let's see what this bad boy does with this 2x4. not too shabby. Alright, well here it is, all cleaned up and in the sheath. This is the Kukri House 3 Chirra Kukri. And I came across this as I was browsing through their online catalog, and it just caught my eye, and I really enjoyed, appreciated the design and the look of it. And then I did find some videos on YouTube of people that had purchased this, and I watched those, and that was pretty much the end of the decision-making process at that point. I placed the order on March 25th and took delivery of it on May 7th. It does take about that long for these kukris to be delivered. They don't just have a stack of them waiting. I mean, you order one and they make it for you, and it takes I mean, these are handmade, hand-done knives made in the old world way. There's no machines involved in the making of these. These are pounded out just in the way that knives were made for centuries. Keeping it with tradition, we'll just look at the sheath first. The sheath is made of wood. It's just I don't know if you can see the inside. You can look in there and see it's just a very, I'm not sure what kind of wood it is. It's very light. It's not a heavy sheath. The leather is water buffalo, and it has been stretched across and stitched here along the back. They do then stain it with a polish. Actually, I believe they say they use shoe polish to stain it and give it a look. They have there's a little tie-down loop there at the tip. The dangle is got 4 rivets. It's good and sturdy there. The throat is there is a softer piece of leather right there at the throat, which is supposed to help keep the blade from scratching from being inserted in and out. Otherwise, it's it's a very serviceable, good-looking sheath, and I think that's going to last a long time. When the knife is put into it, there is a little bit of, because of the curvature of the blade, there is a moment of where you have to kind of give it a push, but it's certainly not anything difficult to do. They recommend that when you draw the knife, you keep your palm on the back where the spine of the blade will be, and grip it this way, not this way, because those 2 pieces of wood actually, it's a sandwich, and so there is an open seam here. And I suppose because of the curvature of that blade, if you don't draw it just right, I draw it and I sort of pull backwards so that the spine is back. I'm pushing back rather than forward, so the blade is not running against the edge, the front edge there. Just do some technical specs on it. That is a 12-inch blade. The thickness on this blade it's almost 3/8 of an inch thick. It is greater than 1/4 of an inch. I actually measured it at 6/16 if you for an imperial measurement, but it's greater than 10 millimeters metric. That is just a thick slab of steel. And it does have sort of a crown here along the ridge, along the spine. Okay, that steel is made from spring steel from the leaf springs, vehicle leaf springs. So a pickup leaf spring is what this is made from, which would be a pretty good steel to make a knife from. Certainly a tough piece of steel, no doubt about that. It is carbon steel, And like I mentioned when I was unboxing, it came just absolutely drenched in oil, in grease. The blade and the handle both. It was just completely soaked in oil. So that's a very good precaution they took in keeping it that way, so that it didn't come with a speck of rust on it. Now, of course, I'll have to keep after it myself, which I will. I've already put a little light coat of WD-40 on it. It'll be just fine. You're probably noticing on the blade there the curvatures, the fullers, and that comes in on the name of this blade, 3 Chirra, and Chirra means are these fullers here. It's said to be the hardest type of way to make one of these knives, rather than just a regular flat side. It takes an artisan, a craftsman, a lot more time to make a knife like this. And those, I mean, not only is it aesthetic, but also those fullers act as a shock absorber, sort of, so to speak, for impact, as well as they add strength in a sense, as functioning like along the I-beam concept. So it really adds, it allows the blade to work longer and harder, and it adds strength and functionality, as well as I think good looks. So that's what that is. The overall length of the knife is 17 inches. The handle is made of Indian rosewood. It's a really nice, rich wood. It's got three rivets there. It is a full flat tang. So that is just one piece of steel all the way through, and it's pinned or riveted there in 3 places. And you can see that it's also been shaped there to aid in the grip. It's got some decorative cutting, as well as that your fingers can grab onto that ridge right there. You can see, of course, the wide spread back here, so that there's no way it's going to fly out of your hand. And it's a good thing too for it, because as you can see, this is a chopping implement. It does have a steel cap on the end here, steel butt cap and pommel, and that's just on there. The craftsmanship on this thing is just wonderful. Really nice. It's a really nice piece. Really glad to have gotten this. The weight of this is 1 pound 14 ounces of just the knife alone. So you've got almost 2 pounds swinging through the air. That definitely has some great inertia, great chopping. As you know, the Kukri has this swept down shape, so that it maximizes the inertia as you're going forward. It's really a great chopping type of a design, but it's also good for piercing. I mean, you got to remember, these are tools and weapons all rolled into one. And if you know anything about Kukris, then you're not going to get away from knowing about the Gurkha of Nepal, which is their army, the fighting force out there. The Gurkhas are well known for being fearless, as well as brutal, in their fighting, and the use of the Kukri. There's just a lot of lore and legend, which I won't go into, but they're known as a legendary soldier, and this is their weapon that they're most identified with. So it's really great having a knife like this that has a place in history, and really is a nice representation of a lot of different things that have happened with these. A lot of different conflicts and moments in history, I suppose. And as far as where I got this, I showed you the paper there. I got this from Kukri House. They are a company that began in 1991. They started selling, manufacturing and selling these Kukris, and the company was started by an ex-Gurkha, and as the story goes, the Kukris that were available up in the 80s and up into that time were low quality, cheap, not good. And when he got out of the army, this ex-Gurkha soldier founded the Kukri House to manufacture quality Kukris that his country and soldiers would be proud to carry. And from there it turned into of course a money-making enterprise as the fame and quality, the legend and fame grew of the company and the type of knives they were making. Now they've got more orders than they can fill. If you order one, you're going to wait a couple of months almost to get it. So it's a successful enterprise, no doubt about that. Well, I'll tell you, I paid $89.99 for this, which, that price is unheard of. If you were to purchase something like this in the United States, it'd cost, I'd say close to $300. This type of a knife like this, $89 plus shipping. Now the shipping is expensive. The total cost of it shipped was $133.53. But it was worth it. I'm glad to have it. It came pretty darn sharp. I will say though that I did when I was chopping, I did notice a little bit of sharpness variation. It seems a little bit sharper down here than it is out here in certain places, but that's easily remedied. The handle is a good secure handle, although it's actually not as oval as I thought it would be. It's actually more round than oval. So when I was chopping, a couple of times I did notice that it did twist in my hand when I struck. Now I'm not going to blame that necessarily on the Kukri. I suppose that could have been operator error. This is the first Kukri I've ever owned, so it could have been me. And also it still had some grease on it, I know, because when I took my glove off, the palm was all full of grease. So it's actually taking me longer to get this grease off of it than I thought it would, but I've got it pretty well now. It's dry now. Yeah, it just came drenched with grease, but that's fine with me. I'd rather have the grease on it than rust. And like I said, it is carbon, so I'll keep after it, but that's a good spring steel it's made of, absolutely indestructible. And wow, what a piece to have. Well, I hope you enjoyed that.